Hi, my name is Sarahjoy Mount, and I am represented by the Linicom Agency, and I am reading for It's Tea Time. I'm doing a monologue from Sister Mary Ignatius Explains It All for You. When I was 16, my mother got breast cancer, which spread. I prayed to God to let her suffering be small, but her suffering seemed quite extreme. She was in bad pain for half a year, and then terrible pain for much of a full year. The ulcerations on her body were horrifying to her and to me. Her last few weeks, she slipped into a semi-conscious state, which allowed her, unfortunately, to wake up for a few minutes at a time and to have full awareness of her pain and her fear of death. She was unable to recognize me. She would try to cry, but she wasn't able to. And to speak, she wasn't able to. I think she wanted me to get her new doctors. She never fully accepted that her disease was going to kill her. And she thought in her panic that her doctors must be incompetent and that new ones would magically cure her. Then, thank goodness, she went into a full coma. A nurse who I knew to be Catholic assured me that everything would be done to keep her alive. A dubious comfort. Happily, the doctor was not Catholic, or if he was, not doctrinaire. And he didn't use extraordinary means to keep her alive, and she finally died after several more weeks in her coma. Now, there are, I'm sure, far worse deaths. Terrible burnings, tortures, plague, pestilence, famine. Christ on the cross even, says Sister likes to say. But I thought my mother's death was hard enough. And I got confused as to why I had been praying. And to whom? I mean, if prayer was really this sort of button you pressed, admit you need the Lord and he stops the suffering, then why didn't it always work? Or ever work? And when it worked, so-called, and our prayers were supposedly answered, was it as likely to be chance as God? God always answers our prayers, you said. He just sometimes says no. I became angry at myself, and by extension at you, for ever having expected anything beyond randomness of the world. And while I was thinking these things the day that my mother died, I was raped. Now I know that's really too much. One really loses all sympathy for me because I sound like I'm making it up or something. But bad things happen all at once. And this particular day, on my return from the hospital, I was raped by some maniac who broke into my house. He had a knife, and he cut me up some. Anyway, I don't really want to go into the experience, but I got really depressed for 5 years. Somehow the utter randomness of things, my mother suffering, my attack by a lunatic, this randomness seemed intolerable. I blamed myself, of course, for letting all of this get to me. But now, Now I think it's childish to look for blame. Part of the randomness of things, that there is no one to blame. But basically, I think everything is your fault, sister.